Hello everyone, this is CJ Novo 992 and today we are back with another brand new video. Today's video is going to be a little mixture of a subscriber requested video who wanted to see the team of the season video, but I know so many YouTubers have already done it. I mean, Sharp Dev's done it, Ryan's done it, Gogsy plans to do it. Everyone in their budget has done a team of the season video, so what I've decided to do is do a little bit of a mixture on that one and just focus on Rangers and try and pick the best 11 players throughout the last season and sort of reflect on them and reflect on the overall season as well. So without any further ado, today's probably going to be a long one, so let's just jump into this then, shall we? 3, 2, 1. Now starting off with the goalie then, shall we? No, not that one. We are talking about Freken McGregor, and this one's pretty easy to pick. He's been absolutely phenomenal all season long. I mean, you just go back, especially the first couple of months where the team is still finding itself. You could argue it took us to about the last 2 months of the season to fully find ourselves, but we had 10 players that was gelling. There was a lot of spaces, a lot of gaps, and McGregor was called upon about 4 or 5 times a single game, and it was phenomenal save after phenomenal save. Carried us not only through the Europa League, but in the Premier League as well, kept us in some vital games with some vital saves, and for me, he is the best goalkeeper in the country. He sits at 52 games for the season, he has conceded 38 goals, and he sits with a cheeky 24 clean sheets as well. So goalkeeper, I think everyone's going to be agreeing with this one, it has to be Shagger. Moving over to the right back spot then, and this one's clearly has to be Captain Tavernier. I mean, there's no one even comes close to him. He's been Mr. Consistent throughout the entire year. You look at his games played, whenever we've needed him, he's been able to play. Not only is his fitness impressive, the fact that he can play this amount of games, it's his level of input that goes into each and every single game as well. It's the willingness to drag us forward when we're not playing well. I mean, look at that game versus Kamara. Where was the drive for the defence? There was none. Tavernier adds so much to our actual game, and not only was he the best fullback in Scottish football last year, he was by far one of the best overall players, and the fact that he never made it to the final 4 absolutely confuses me. It makes absolutely no sense. Maybe you didn't need to give him the award, but the way that he performed last year, the stats that he put up, blowing away the other competition that even won the award, he deserved to be frickin' mentioned. Now I know some question his defensive attributes, and that's fair, but I think a lot of that's remembering in past years. Like his first 2 years in the league in the top division with Rangers was really bad. This season I think he actually performed okay. Yes, he made a couple of clear mistakes, I've mentioned them a lot in some fan recaps, but so did everyone else. It's just highlighted a little bit more when it's Captain Tavernier because he is the captain of Rangers. Yes, he's not a defensive fullback, but what he is a perfect modern day attacking fullback, and he adds so much to the team. He's played 57 games, he sits at 17 goals, 20 assists and 26 clean sheets. That is Captain Tavernier, and that is why he's on my team. Now the first centre back is going to be pretty obvious and pretty consistent. I think in most of your guys starting 11, if you're getting involved down in the comment section below, which I do certainly encourage you because I want to see what you think of players and who you think deserves to play there. If you only had to pick 11, who would it actually be? For me, the first one has to be Gorton. It's quite mad to think back. Yes, a lot of people love Katic and the hashtag movement, and that's fantastic, but I think Gorton gets a wee bit overlooked because you go back a year or even a year before that, we were always struggling for that solid centre-back who's going to be able to play 30-40 games a season. I mean, we tried quick fixes like Russell Martin, Senderos, we had Kiernan, we had Danny Wilson, we had all these centre-backs that we threw in there just trying to find a bit of consistency. But since the day Gorton came into the squad and pulled on that Rangers jersey, he has been solid. Yes, he's not spectacular, he's not the best overall defender in Europe and all that stuff, like, but he is a strong, solid leader that we've needed in the centre-half spot for numerous years, and I think he gets vastly overlooked. You look at his performances as well, bar the Spartak Moscow game where, yes, I'll give you that, he was very bad. It's been consistent, and that is what we've craved for so long. Now I think with the first 3 we've actually spoke, I think it's pretty obvious the picks there, but moving on to the next centre half, we've obviously got 2 clear options. We've got Big Joe Worrell and we've got the Croatian Prince Katic, and even their stats are very similar. When you put them next to each other, it's actually pretty damn close. You've got Joe Worrell sitting with 32 games, he has 1 goal to his name and 16 clean sheets, and on the other hand you've got Katic who's played 30 games, has 3 goals, 2 assists and 14 clean sheets. That is pretty damn close. But for me personally, it has to be Nikola Katic. That's right, I'm going Gorton and Nikola Katic for my centre backs. I think not only do they two have a better understanding, a better partnership than Gorton and Joe Worrell, or Katic and Joe Worrell, or Macaulay and whatever. I just think the team looks better, looks a lot more comfortable, and again he adds that goal scoring threat. And there's obviously the fact that Joe Worrell made a couple of mistakes that ended up leading to goals. Katic so far in his Rangers career hasn't been credited to making any mistakes that leads to a goal. So I'm going to go with Katic and Connor Gorton. Now let's move to the left back. And for me, this one was a tough one to pick as well, because on one hand we've got John Flanagan, who started off quite quietly efficient, like started off well, absolutely fell off a cliff, by the way. Just performances were horrific. Then slowly but surely rise like a shithouse phoenix and played balls out for the last 7 to 8 weeks. It was weird. And when you compare him to the other two left backs that we're going to be discussing in just a moment, he actually has the best clean sheet ratio out of them all. He's played 23 games. He has 1 assist to his name. That terrific long ball to Danny Candeas, by the way. But also a very, very impressive 14 clean sheets as well. 23 games, 14 clean sheets. That is quite tasty. Then in a more attacking sense, you've got BB, who started the season off terrifically. It looked like we had a Tav on the left hand side. He played 14 games, had 7 assists to his name. But like John Flanagan, he fell away. But unlike John Flanagan, he just continued to get worse and worse and worse and worse. And I don't think he's had a good game since September. And I don't think it should surprise anyone. He has a lot worse clean sheet ratio compared to John Flanagan. BB sits at 25 games, has his 7 assists, and only has 9 clean sheets. But in saying that, the left back that makes it into my 2018/19 team of this season is going to be none other than Mr. Andy Freken Halliday. Who would have thought that at the start of the season? But all joking aside, when you look at Andy Halliday, yes, his season's been split between left back and centre mid, but every single time he has played, he has wore his heart on his sleeve and he's got stuck in. There's never been one time you've watched a game and he's not been tracking back defensively like BB, where we get frustrated or he's caught out of position. He works his arse off, and it certainly showed that. He's done that all season long. I mean, he must have been on #1 spot for everyone's door, like to be transferred out at the start of the season. But not only has he fought his way in, he's won Gerrard's trust and he's won all the fans' trust back as well. The reason I've picked him at left back ahead of BB and John Flanagan, who statistically will be the best left back at Rangers this season, is because Halliday's never had the dip. You know what I mean? John Flanagan had that 6-7 months dip where he was awful. And I mean, you look at BB, he's still on his dip. He's still gone down. I mean, he's just digging in deeper in terms of his dip. But Halliday hasn't had that dip. It's a consistent 7 out of 10 every single game. Played 16 games only at left back when you just look at the overall stat. But he has 2 goals, 3 assists and 7 clean sheets as well. But again, every single one of those games were a consistent level from Andy Freken Halliday. And that is why he makes it into my squad. Now moving over to the midfield, now you can probably notice, if I've got the graphic up correctly, that there's only 3 centre mids. There's no wingers. What's happening here, CJ? Well, I'll start off with talking about the one player that's probably going to be on everyone's list. I mean, if Gerrard made his list, it'd certainly be on his, because Gerrard has came out on record and said he's been his most consistent player throughout the entire season. It is none other than Mr. Ryan Jack. For me, Jack's genuinely been incredible this season, and I think when you look back in Jack's career where he goes forward with the Glasgow Rangers, this will always be remembered as the transitional year for Ryan Jack, from being just a centre defensive mid who's just a break-up play and just that's it, that's like his role, to not only getting box to box but to get forward, to create chances. This has been a year where he's had to do a lot more than he's had to do in his entire career, and he's took it in his stride, and Gerrard's been absolutely so impressed with him. He's went ahead and called him the most consistent player of the season. And his overall games in midfield sit at 46 games. 16 of those were started at the season where he was playing at just a CDM role. It was the further 30 other appearances where he was put in his more advanced role where he had to do a lot more. He also sits at 4 goals for the season, which is a season high for Mr. Ryan Jack, and 5 assists as well. Now the next player is going to be someone we actually signed in January, and it is none other than Glenn Freken Kamara. It was a close one between Steven Davis and Glenn Kamara. They played nearly identical amount of games, but the reason I've not went with Steven Davis is I think when he first came in, he obviously wasn't fit. We all knew that, right? But when he did play his first 5, 6, maybe even 7 games, like we 50 minutes here, we 20 minutes here, it never quite worked. He didn't fit in the formation. It was later on in the season where you truly saw the real Steven Davis, the fit Steven Davis that's sitting in this new role, in this new formation, that could pick plays and dictate the tempo. But Glenn Kamara, since he came in, since he played his first game for Rangers, he played 17 games, and can you name one bad performance out of any of the 17. Now, to be fair, he has only scored 1 goal and 3 assists for the Glasgow Rangers, but genuinely he oozes classes. I mean, you just need to watch a game of football and you see everything he does. It's the turns, it's the willingness to accept the ball, to run with the ball. He's no fear to get stuck into a challenge as well. He's no scared to get challenged. The lad literally has it all. And fun fact, by the way, did you know he only costs 50k? I don't think it's been mentioned. I genuinely can't wait to see what this guy can transform into and what he can help transform Rangers into, because he's only going to get better, and the better he gets, the better Rangers gets, and it's going to be an interesting ride watching the rise of Mr. Glenn Kamara. Now, the last centre mid that's going to make it into the Rangers 11 is going to be none other than Mr. Scotty Arfield. Scotty Arfield, Captain Canada, Mr. I scored a goalkeeper, and obviously Mr. Saturday Night. At this point, he's got more names than Apollo Creed from the Rocky franchise, but still, the man deserves more. And it's been an interesting season when you think about it, because he absolutely exploded in the last 3 months with goals upon goals. He even got a hat-trick in the league. He was frightening in a more advanced role, especially next to Jermaine Defoe, where you just saw the intelligence, the experience, and we were all sitting there like, why was that not there day freaking one? But when you go back to the start of the season, he was playing on a more restrictive centre mid role, where he was just the hard workhorse, just run, get the ball and try and make things happen. He ran every single blade of grass, and he ran his pan in each and every single game, and everything what you want from a Rangers player: hard work but quality on the end of that. Scotty Arfield showed this season, and he's been fantastic. Brilliant transfer as well, free, didn't cost you a penny, by the way. His overall season stats sit at 46 games, 12 goals, 7 assists, and he scored the 1 goalie. Now, moving over to the free role in the overall squad, because this is what he basically plays in our new formation. It's going to be none other than Mr. Ryan Kenney. Won Young Player of the Year. He's up for Player of the Year. He has genuinely taken this league by storm. And yes, he's not maybe scored enough goals or assisted, but it's what he does when the ball's actually at his feet. He's not scared of the big games. In fact, he thrives in the big games. He's like a weird mixture of so many different play styles. I mean, skillful wingers aren't supposed to take two-footed hard challenges or a rocket and hard challenge and just bounce back up. They're supposed to roll about for 10 minutes, squealing, going like this. Ryan just gets nailed, gets straight back up and just wants the ball. He's so unique, and we've not had anything like him in a very, very long time. This one I don't need to go into too much detail. He's been frightening in this free role as well. He's been fantastic, and hopefully he's here next season, which he should be. His stats sit at 43 games, 6 goals and 9 overall assists for the season. And to end my overall squad, I'm actually going to go with 2 strikers up top, because the both of them's goals / assists ratio per game is genuinely frightening. Whenever they play, they're either impacting it by scoring or assisting nearly every single game, and they both deserved a mention. Done off with the first striker, let's throw him in. It's going to be Mr. Jermaine Defoe. He scored on his debut within about 10-15 minutes, and he never stopped scoring for there. Yes, he maybe necessarily never played enough games that we were all expecting. I was expecting him to be starting a hell of a lot more games, but you saw the run at the last 2 months of the season where we started him, we believed in him, we played with someone very close to him to get the best out of him, and you saw what Jermaine Defoe can do, not only by scoring, but his awareness. You just go back to that Celtic game, the fact that he had the awareness to dummy that ball because he knew Scott Arfield was going to run in between without even looking at the player, just says it all. Absolutely immense. And then there's the small fact that he finished with the best minutes per goal ratio in the entirety of the SPFL. His overall season stats sit at 20 games, 8 goals and 8 assists. Out of those 20 games, by the way, only 12 of them were starts. And moving on to the last player, and I think it's fitting that he is the last player that we mentioned in the overall season recap. It's going to be Mr. Alfredo Morales, never far away from the headlines for the good, the bad, and the Alfredo frickin' Morales. Yes, if you look at the overall season, our best winning spell was without the Buffalo Soldier, but you have to go back to the first 6 months of the season where we were playing that awkward formation, and how many times did we just kick it to Alfredo Morales and just hope and pray that he won us the game, and the majority of the time he did in the first 6 months. Now his overall stats sit at 48 games, 30 goals and 11 assists. That's 41 goal contributions in 48 games. The man is never far away from the action. The good and the bad. Yes, there's been disciplinary problems. We've all talked about, me especially, in length, and that frustrates us. But even with that, the amount of games that he lost, he's still only the 6th player in the last 50 years of our history to reach 30 goals. So for me, there was absolutely no way I could not have put Alfredo Morales into this final 11 for the overall 18/19 season. Hopefully, with the fact that he did spend a lot of time on the bench, he got frustrated with not being coming straight back into the overall squad, and the fact that he's missed out in the Copa America, hopefully that screws in the nut a little bit and we see a different Alfredo Morales next season and he can go ahead and smash the goals record. Because can you imagine if he didn't get those 5 sending offs and had to spend 5 weeks away from football, how many goals this man could have actually scored for us? It's frightening to think about, and hopefully next season we see that. And with that being said, that's going to be my 18/19 season Rangers team of this season. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on your team of the season down there in the comment section below. That is why the channel exists, is for getting your thoughts out there and discussing it with others. And before we wrap up today's video, I just want to give you my final thoughts on the overall season. Now, we've talked about the players, let's talk about the season. Yes, we didn't win anything, we were quite disappointed in the overall cups, but as Steven Gerrard said, there was a lot of bodies there that we had to gel in. It was basically a brand new team. He had to get over a lot of the mental scars that we had picked up over the last couple of seasons with just being absolutely terrible in the Old Firm games. We've put that to bed. He's turned an inexperienced team that's not used to winning into a machine that can go on a winning run of 7 wins in a row. And I'm pretty sure if it wasn't the last game of the season where we sent 3 or 4 players on their holidays, we would have finished with a post-split completion, which would have been the first time in our entire Rangers history to ever make that happen. You think of how many great teams we've had in the past. This team almost done what they couldn't. Now, obviously, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm happy with finishing 2nd in the league and not getting to cup finals, because we all know, I've pretty much said that over the years, that it's either winning it or nothing. But again, this Rangers team is getting in a position where they can go ahead and win things, and I'm confident about next season. It's going to be a very interesting time, not only in the transfer window, but another year with these players, and it's going to be an exciting time. I'm going to be here, win or lose or draw. We're always going to be here, we're always going to be making videos, and hopefully you guys will be joining me on the journey as well towards 55k and 55 league titles. With that being said, I have been CJ Nova92. Thank you so much for watching, and bye.